This audiobook unveils the hidden law. The universe controls destiny. Every belief you hold, every feeling you nurture sends signals into the infinite field. Listen closely, for the power to align with your true path is already within you. Universe controls destiny. Introduction. In the silent weave of eternity, your arrival here is no accident. You were drawn, as a star is pulled by hidden gravity, into the orbit of these words. For destiny is never random. Every step, every breath, is part of the great design authored by the universe itself. The universe is both the loom and the weaver, spinning threads of thought, belief, and vibration into the fabric of your life. What you hold within, your visions, your doubts, your desires, becomes the pattern that unfolds without. This sacred law does not falter. It reflects you with unerring precision. The law of attraction, steady as the rising sun, moves not through force but through resonance. Energy answers energy, and like calls to like. Thus, your mind is not merely an observer of reality, but the silent compass steering its course. What lies within these chapters is not new knowledge, but ancient remembrance. Wisdom carried through ages by mystics and sages, whispering that you are not a bystander, but a co-creator with the infinite. As you awaken to this truth, you will see how life bends to the frequency you embody. No grand ceremony is required, only the opening of your heart to realms unseen. The practices shared here will guide you from knowing to being, from concept to living truth. And it begins in just 7 days. 7 days in which the universe will reveal its hand, shifting currents not through chaos, but through subtle alignments, gentle ripples that expand into oceans of transformation. Each sign, each synchronicity, will be the echo of destiny's voice, reminding you that the universe has always been in control, and it has always conspired in your favor. But before we begin, please hit the like button and let me know where in the world you're watching from today. It's always fascinating seeing who's joining us from around the world. Part 1. The Awakening of Alignment. Chapter 1. The Window Opens. In a village among ancient hills lived a merchant named Clarence, whose days were stained with worry about his dwindling trade. Each morning he would gaze at his empty shop and mutter, "No one comes anymore. These are difficult times." And so it was. Customers grew scarcer with each passing day. One dawn, as Clarence arranged his wares, an old sage paused at his doorway. "Your words weave the fabric of your days," the sage observed. "The universe responds not to what you see, but to what you believe." Clarence dismissed these words initially, yet they lingered in his thoughts. That evening, despite his empty shop, he chose to light all his lanterns, arrange his finest goods, and speak aloud, "I welcome abundance." Within hours, a traveling caravan stopped unexpectedly, filling his shop with buyers. Through this simple shift, Clarence glimpsed the eternal truth. His thoughts were electrical currents, sending signals into the vast expanse of creation. His beliefs, whether of lack or abundance, manifested with equal precision. In another time, a woman named Hattie yearned for true companionship. Rather than dwelling in loneliness, she began tending to her garden as if preparing it for shared moments. She set 2 chairs on her porch, brewed tea for 2, and smiled at the empty seat as if it were already filled. She chose joy before any evidence appeared. Within weeks, a fellow gardener moved into the neighboring house. Their shared passion for flowers blossomed into deep friendship, demonstrating that your vibration must precede your manifestation. The universe operates through immutable laws. Like attracts like, and energy flows where attention goes. Your thoughts are not mere whispers in the void. They are magnetic forces drawing corresponding experiences into your field of being. The power lies not in waiting for evidence to believe, but in believing so purely that evidence has no choice but to follow. Your thoughts shape electromagnetic waves that ripple through the fabric of reality, attracting experiences that match their frequency. Ancient practice. Close your eyes and settle into stillness. For 10 minutes, immerse yourself in the vivid feeling of already living your deepest desire. If you seek abundance, feel the warmth of prosperity flowing through your life. If you yearn for love, experience the joy of sharing your heart fully. Let gratitude fill every cell of your being, as if your dream has already manifested. This gratitude serves as the conductor through which manifestation flows. Practice this daily, for in the realm of energy, feeling precedes form. Chapter 2. The Doorway Within. In the bustling marketplace of an ancient city, a talented young artist named Roy painted portraits, constantly seeking validation from passers-by. With each stroke of his brush, his eyes darted nervously to gauge reactions. Some days brought praise, others silence, and his spirit rose and fell like autumn leaves in the wind. Your outer world mirrors your inner certainty. When you chase approval, you broadcast a signal of insufficiency into the universe. This energy of seeking creates more situations that require seeking, perpetuating an endless cycle of validation hunger. Roy's breakthrough came when an old master painter stopped to observe his work. Instead of offering critique, the master asked, "Why do you paint?" The question pierced Roy's heart. That night, he painted alone, reconnecting with the pure joy of creation. As he worked from this space of inner certainty, his art transformed. Soon, collectors sought him out, drawn not by his technique alone, but by the confidence emanating from his work. The universe responds not to your actions, but to the energy beneath them. When you stand in your truth, reality rearranges itself to match your certainty. Confidence is not an outcome of success. It is the magnetic force that attracts it. In a quiet valley, a woman named Lillian lived modestly, always worrying about having enough. Each copper coin she earned was clutched with anxiety about tomorrow. Then one spring morning, she began a simple practice. Looking at her small vegetable garden, she whispered, "I have food to eat today." Gazing at her humble cottage, she murmured, "I have shelter that keeps me warm." Day by day, she acknowledged these simple gifts. Something shifted in her energy field. The more she appreciated what she had, the more abundance flowed into her life. A neighbor offered partnership in their thriving textile business. Her garden yielded surplus to sell at market. Her grateful heart had become fertile soil for prosperity. What you appreciate appreciates. This is not mere wordplay, but a fundamental law of energy. When you focus on lack, you remain locked in scarcity's embrace. When you recognize abundance, even in its smallest forms, you tune your vibration to attract more. Ancient practice. As each day draws to a close, take your journal and write 5 blessings you experienced. Let gratitude overflow as you recall each one: the warmth of sunlight, a kind word, a moment of peace, a task completed, a shared laugh. Feel the fullness of these gifts as if they were precious gems illuminating your path. This practice opens unseen corridors of fortune, for gratitude is the highest frequency of abundance. Chapter 3. The Whisper of Trust. A merchant's daughter named Pearl watched from her balcony as trade caravans passed through the city gates. Each departing caravan felt like another chance slipping away. She had inherited her father's keen eye for valuable goods, yet hesitated to make bold trades herself, fearing she might choose wrongly. Day after day, she calculated and recalculated, seeking the perfect moment that never came. When your thoughts spiral into patterns of missed chances and regret, you face the same lesson Pearl discovered. The universe operates not through perfect timing, but through perfect trust. What appears as a missed opportunity is often life's gentle redirection toward something better suited to your path. The law of attraction responds not to your careful plans, but to your energetic state of allowing. When you release your grip on how things must unfold, you create space for the universe to exceed your limited vision. Your role is not to orchestrate every detail, but to remain in alignment with what feels right in your heart. A traveler named Victor learned this truth on his journey to the Eastern kingdoms. His carefully plotted route was disrupted by a landslide that forced him to take an unmarked path through the mountains. Instead of fighting against this deviation, he surrendered to the new direction. This detour led him to a hidden valley where rare herbs grew in abundance, herbs that would later make his fortune in ways his original plans never could have achieved. The universe speaks in the language of synchronicity. What seems like interference is often divine intervention. Your task is not to question every turn in the road, but to trust that each bend leads you closer to your highest good. When you resist life's natural flow, you create friction that blocks your blessings. When you release resistance, you allow the current of creation to carry you toward your destiny. Trust is not passive waiting. It is active alignment with the wisdom of the universe. It is knowing that while you may not see the entire path, each step reveals itself in perfect time. The law of attraction responds most powerfully to this state of faithful allowing. To anchor this wisdom in your daily life, begin each morning with these words spoken aloud. I trust what comes my way is for my good. Feel these words resonate in your body. Let them expand within you until trust becomes your natural state. This declaration serves as a key, unlocking the doorway to divine timing and effortless manifestation. Chapter 4. The Seeds We Plant. In a small village among rolling hills, Elsie tended her garden each morning, her hands moving mechanically through the soil while her thoughts dwelled on past disappointments. Each failed venture and missed opportunity felt like a thorny vine wrapped around her heart, choking out hope. The garden flourished, yet she could only see the wilted leaves and empty spaces where seeds had not taken root. One dawn, as storm clouds gathered overhead, an old woman appeared at her garden gate. Your flowers tell a story, the stranger said, gesturing to the mixed patches of vibrant blooms and bare earth. Just as these plants grew from seeds you planted weeks ago, your life grows from the seeds of your thoughts. The truth of these words pierced Elsie's heart. Each bitter memory she nursed was a seed, each moment of self-doubt a dark root spreading beneath the surface of her days. The universe, in its infinite wisdom, simply responded to what she planted in the fertile soil of her mind. Your thoughts are not mere whispers in the wind. They are living seeds that take root in the garden of tomorrow. The universal mind does not judge these seeds as good or bad, worthy or unworthy. It simply provides the conditions for growth, nurturing whatever you plant with equal dedication. Leonard, a merchant in the city marketplace, discovered this truth through his own journey. His words had always been sharp, quick to criticize both others and himself. His relationships withered like plants in drought. Then he learned the ancient practice of speaking words of kindness, first to himself, then to others. Each morning he would say, "I am worthy of love," before leaving his home. Each interaction became a chance to plant a seed of appreciation. Within months, his world transformed. Customers lingered at his stall, drawn by his genuine warmth. Fellow merchants sought his company. The very air around him seemed to shimmer with possibility. He had not changed his circumstances. He had changed the seeds he was planting. The universe mirrors back to you the harvest of your thoughts with perfect precision. When you understand this principle, you hold the key to transforming your reality. Every thought is a seed. Every word is a seed. Every feeling is a seed. Plant them wisely. Sacred practice. Select one sentence that embodies love or abundance. It might be, "I am blessed beyond measure," or "Love flows to me easily." Speak this chosen phrase many times throughout your day, while preparing breakfast, during your daily tasks, before sleep. Let these words become seeds planted in the fertile soil of your subconscious mind. Continue this practice for 7 days, watching how your chosen thoughts take root and begin to grow in the garden of your life. Chapter 5. The Riverflow. In a small village among rolling hills, Mabel sat each morning at her window, watching life pass by while feeling trapped in stillness. Her hands folded in her lap, she yearned for movement, for change, for the rushing waters of possibility she witnessed in others' lives. Yet with each attempt to force progress, she found herself more deeply rooted in place. One dawn, as mist rose from the valley, an old woman appeared beneath Mabel's window. "The more you grip sand," the woman said, "the faster it slips through your fingers." When Mabel descended to speak further, the woman had vanished, but her words echoed, revealing a truth. Mabel's desperate hold on how life should be had become the very force holding her back. The universe operates like a mighty river. Its currents carry all that is meant for you. When you resist its flow, you create dams of tension that block abundance from reaching your shore. Your striving becomes struggling. Your effort transforms into obstacle. The ancient ones knew this truth. Prosperity flows not to those who grasp, but to those who open their hands in acceptance. Just as water cannot be forced uphill, abundance cannot be coerced against its natural course. Release your grip on how things must be. Surrender your timeline, your methods, your rigid expectations. In that letting go, you remove the barriers that have kept prosperity at bay. In time, Mabel learned to loosen her hold on life's steering wheel. She stopped fighting the current and instead focused on aligning with its flow. Within weeks, opportunities began appearing, small at first, like droplets, then streaming steadily as she allowed herself to be carried by life's momentum. Franklin, a merchant in the city, discovered this same principle when his trading business began to falter. Rather than desperately clinging to his familiar path, he listened to the subtle pull of new possibilities. When an unexpected opportunity arose to teach others his craft, he accepted this change in direction. By surrendering to this new current, doors opened that he never imagined possible. His influence expanded, his prosperity deepened, and his joy multiplied. Not because he forced his way forward, but because he allowed himself to flow with life's river. Practice. The river, meditation. When anxiety grips you and resistance builds, find a quiet moment. Close your eyes and envision yourself beside a gentle river. Watch as each worry, each fear, each rigid expectation detaches and flows away with the current. Feel the release as you surrender to the flow, knowing the universe carries you precisely where you need to be. Let the river wash away all that blocks your path, leaving only the pure presence of allowing. Chapter 6. The Mirror Speaks. In a bustling marketplace, Harvey stood before his empty merchant stall, bitterness etched across his weathered face. Day after day, he watched others succeed while his own ventures crumbled. "The world conspires against me," he would mutter, seeing only obstacles and misfortune wherever he looked. One morning, a wise woman approached his stall. Instead of goods, she placed a simple mirror upon his counter. "What do you see?" she asked. Harvey glimpsed his reflection, the scowl, the tension, the defeat in his eyes. "I see failure," he replied. She smiled knowingly and said, "Then that is what life will continue to show you." The universe operates as a grand mirror, reflecting back the essence of your inner world. Your outer circumstances echo the vibration you maintain within. When you perceive lack, the mirror shows scarcity. When you radiate worth, abundance appears before you. This is not mere coincidence. It is the law of reflection working with precise accuracy. Your consciousness creates before circumstances confirm. The outer world must shift when inner awareness transforms. This is the immutable order of creation. Every thought you hold, every feeling you nurture, ripples outward into manifestation. The mirror never lies. It simply shows what you have come to believe about yourself and your place in the world. As Harvey began to understand this truth, he noticed how his perception colored every interaction, every opportunity. Gradually, he chose to see possibility instead of problems. He straightened his posture, softened his expression, and spoke with renewed confidence. Within weeks, customers were drawn to his stall, sensing the shift in his energy. His outer world transformed as his inner landscape bloomed. Mildred discovered this same principle when chronic illness plagued her body. For years she had viewed her form with criticism and blame. But upon learning the mirror law, she began to speak words of love to her reflection. "You are whole, you are healing, you are sacred," she would whisper each morning. As her inner dialogue shifted from contempt to compassion, her body responded in kind. Vitality returned, symptoms eased, and her natural radiance emerged. Not through forcing change, but through transforming her inner relationship with herself. Practice. The mirror blessing. Stand before a mirror in solitude. Look deeply into your own eyes, beyond surface judgment to the eternal spirit within. Place your hand upon your heart and speak these words with conviction. I honor and love who I see. Let this truth penetrate every cell, shifting your energy from criticism to acceptance. The mirror of life will reflect back this new vibration, transforming your outer world to match your inner light. Chapter 7. Light Beyond Fear. A merchant named Stanley lived in constant fear of losing his livelihood. Each morning, he awoke with a heavy dread that gripped his chest, convinced disaster lurked around every corner. His shop, though prosperous, felt like a fragile vessel that could shatter at any moment. This fear cast long shadows across his days, dimming even his brightest successes. One evening, as Stanley counted his earnings with trembling hands, an old sage appeared at his door. The sage watched Stanley's anxious movements and spoke. What you resist persists. Your fear is but a shadow cast by your own resistance to life's flow. The truth rings eternal. Fear exists not as your enemy, but as your teacher. When fear rises within you, it points toward the very direction your spirit yearns to grow. Like a compass needle trembling before finding true north, fear signals the path to your expansion. Your relationship with fear determines the boundaries of your existence. When you fight against it, fear grows stronger, feeding on your resistance. But when you embrace fear as a natural signal of growth, its power diminishes, revealing itself as merely a shadow cast by your own light. Just as darkness cannot exist in the presence of light, fear cannot maintain its grip when met with understanding. Your task is not to eliminate fear, but to recognize it as a messenger guiding you toward greater alignment with your highest potential. In a distant village lived Ida, a widow who inherited her husband's failing business. Initially paralyzed by fear of failure, she discovered that courage in thought preceded courage in action. Instead of allowing fear to dictate her choices, she began to greet each fearful thought with quiet determination. I choose faith over fear, became her morning declaration. Within weeks, her small shop began to prosper. She expanded her inventory, hired helpers, and soon her business flourished beyond what anyone expected. Her transformation came not from the absence of fear, but from her willingness to walk alongside it without letting it rule her decisions. The wisdom stands clear. Fear loses its power when you cease resisting its presence. By accepting fear as a natural companion on your journey, you transmute its energy into fuel for growth. Your fears, when embraced with understanding, become stepping stones toward your desires rather than walls blocking your path. Practice. Each time fear arises, find a quiet space. Close your eyes and envision this fear as a dark cloud surrounding you. Now imagine pure golden light emanating from your heart, gradually dissolving this cloud. As the darkness transforms into light, gently whisper, I walk with light alone. Let this practice remind you that fear is merely a shadow, and you carry within you the light that dispels all shadows. Chapter 8. The Garden Within. In a remote mountain village, Clara lived each day feeling overwhelmed by the swirling chaos around her. Her home, once a sanctuary, now felt like a tempest of scattered thoughts and unsettled emotions. Through sleepless nights, she yearned for peace until an old sage appeared at her door. Your inner world is a garden, the sage spoke softly. Each thought you plant takes root. Each emotion you feed helps it grow. You possess within you a sacred garden, a place where every thought seeds itself into the soil of your consciousness. Like Clara, you may feel the chaos of scattered seeds blown by winds of worry. Yet this turbulence exists only because you have forgotten your role as the master gardener of your mind. The universe operates through perfect order, and your thoughts are the seeds that determine what blooms in your life. When you plant seeds of discord, weeds of discontent spread their roots. But when you consciously cultivate thoughts of harmony, flowers of peace blossom naturally. Your emotions water these mental seeds. Joy nurtures the growth of abundance, while fear withers even the strongest plantings. This is why two people can plant identical thoughts, yet harvest vastly different results. Their emotional waters determine what flourishes. Gilbert, a factory supervisor, discovered this truth during a period of workplace tension. Rather than fighting the external discord, he began tending his inner garden each morning. Before entering the factory, he would plant seeds of harmony and water them with genuine appreciation for his colleagues. Within weeks, the atmosphere shifted. His cultivated inner peace reflected in smoother operations, warmer interactions, and innovative solutions emerging naturally. Gilbert had not changed his external circumstances. He had simply tended his inner garden until its fruits manifested in his outer world. Your thoughts are not random occurrences, but precious seeds entrusted to your care. Each morning brings fresh soil, ready to receive what you choose to plant. Will you scatter seeds of worry to sprout into thorny problems? Or will you mindfully plant joy, peace, and abundance to harvest their sweet fruits? The practice passed down through ages invites you to become the conscious gardener of your mind. Each morning, find a quiet moment. Close your eyes and envision your inner garden. Plant 3 distinct seeds of joy, perhaps a peaceful relationship, abundant wealth, or radiant health. Water each seed with the pure emotion of gratitude. Let your inner eye watch them take root, knowing the universe must return in kind what you cultivate within. Chapter 9. The Golden Key. In a bustling marketplace, Eugene stood before countless locked doors, each marked with his deepest wishes. He carried a heavy ring of keys, hard work, cleverness, connections, yet none would turn in their locks. Night after night, he'd return home empty-handed, wondering why destiny seemed sealed against him. Until one dawn, he encountered an ancient locksmith whose eyes sparkled with wisdom. "The master key you seek," the locksmith whispered, "is gratitude. When you stand before the locked doors of your desires, you hold already the key that opens every portal. This key is not forged of metal, but of appreciation, genuine thankfulness for what is yet unseen. The universe responds not to demands, but to the magnetic force of gratitude. When you offer thanks before evidence appears, you align with the creative force that shapes all reality. This is not mere positive thinking. It is the activation of universal law. Gratitude opens channels through which abundance flows naturally. Like water seeking its level, blessings rush to fill the space created by authentic appreciation. But this key must be turned before the door opens, not after. Dorothy discovered this truth during a time of profound lack. Rather than dwelling on empty cupboards, she began each morning thanking the universe for overflow. With no evidence visible, she expressed heartfelt gratitude for abundance already given. She blessed her empty wallet as if it burst with prosperity. Within days, unexpected opportunities emerged. A forgotten debt was repaid. A client doubled their order. A relative shared surprise abundance. Dorothy had not changed her circumstances through force. She had simply turned the key of gratitude until the doors of prosperity swung wide. This principle operates with mathematical precision. What you appreciate appreciates. The vibration of genuine thankfulness sends ripples through the fabric of creation, attracting more reasons to be thankful. This is why gratitude offered in advance holds such power. It signals to the universe your readiness to receive. You need not wait for evidence to turn this sacred key. The locksmith's wisdom teaches that gratitude comes first. Manifestation follows. By giving thanks now for what you wish to experience, you unlock the very channels through which it will flow. The ancient practice passed through generations awaits your participation. As each new day dawns, stand in quiet solitude. Speak aloud your gratitude for 3 yet unmanifested dreams as if they already exist. Feel the depth of appreciation for these gifts, perhaps robust health, harmonious relationships, or abundant prosperity, knowing they journey toward you through your thankfulness. Let your heart overflow with genuine gratitude until you sense the clicking of destiny's lock, yielding to this master key. Chapter 10. The Horizon Expands. In a humble village, Alfred spent his days carving wooden figures, creating the same designs his father and grandfather had made before him. Though his hands were skilled, his spirit felt confined by the boundaries of tradition. Each morning, he would gaze at the distant mountains, sensing something more, but believing himself bound by the limits of his inheritance. One day, a wandering artisan passed through the village, carrying sculptures that seemed to capture light itself. The pieces danced with possibilities Alfred had never imagined wood could express. "How did you learn to create such wonders?" Alfred asked. "I didn't learn," the artisan replied. "I simply stopped believing in limitations. The wood shows me what it wishes to become." This truth lies at the heart of all creation. Your beliefs draw the line between possible and impossible. The universe responds not to your wishes, but to your deepest convictions. When you declare something beyond reach, you command the universe to place it there. Yet when you expand your vision, reality must stretch to meet it. Your current circumstances are not walls, but windows. Through them, you glimpse what you have allowed yourself to see. Change the window, and you change the view. Enlarge it, and more light streams in. Remove it entirely, and the whole world opens before you. Consider Bertie, who dreamed of opening a small flower shop in her neighborhood. She planned carefully, thinking only of what seemed realistic. But one morning, while arranging wildflowers in her garden, she allowed herself to imagine something grander. What if her simple shop could become a sanctuary of beauty? What if her arrangements could grace celebrations across the city? What if her passion for flowers could inspire others to discover their own creative gifts? As Bertie's vision expanded, the universe orchestrated unexpected alignments. A retiring florist offered her a prime location. A wedding planner discovered her unique style. Soon her work adorned grand hotels and touched lives she had never dreamed of reaching. Her success grew not because she worked harder, but because she dared to believe in a larger possibility. The size of your dream matters less than your willingness to let it grow. Start where you are, but refuse to end there. Let your vision be like a seed that contains the full potential of a mighty tree within its tiny shell. Ancient practice. Settle into stillness and envision your most treasured dream. Now, allow it to expand until it triples in magnitude. If you imagine touching 10 lives, see yourself touching 30. If you picture abundance at one level, multiply it threefold. Let your spirit soar past the boundaries of reasonable expectations. Repeat this practice weekly, watching as your capacity to dream grows alongside your capacity to receive. Part 2. The Path of Surrender. Chapter 11. The Gentle Current. In a bustling marketplace, Agnes clutched her timepiece, measuring each moment against her carefully constructed plans. From sunrise to sunset, she orchestrated her life like a conductor demanding perfect tempo from an orchestra. Each delay caused her spirit to tighten. Each setback felt like failure. Her determination to control time's flow left her exhausted, yet success remained elusive. The universe operates on its own divine schedule, moving with a wisdom beyond mortal understanding. When you attempt to force its hand, you create resistance that blocks the natural flow of abundance. Like a river meeting a dam, your insistence on controlling the current only creates turbulence in your path. Your relationship with time reveals your trust in the universe's plan. When you squeeze moments too tightly, you strangle possibility. When you release your grip on timing, you allow miracles their space to blossom. The universe's clockwork turns with precise purpose, bringing each blessing at the perfect hour. Not a moment too soon or too late. The deep truth whispered through ages speaks clearly. Surrender precedes serenity. Your role is not to direct the universe's timing, but to align with its rhythm. In this alignment, effort transforms from pushing against the current to floating gracefully within it. Witness the transformation of Jasper, whose business ventures once felt like battles against time. Each deal required force. Each opportunity seemed to demand aggressive pursuit. His days stretched thin with stress until exhaustion brought him to stillness. In that quiet space, he discovered a profound truth. Success flows more freely when we cease trying to control its arrival. Jasper began allowing space between his actions. He learned to pause, to breathe, to trust. Rather than chasing opportunities, he cultivated readiness to receive them. Soon, the very connections that once eluded his grasp began appearing naturally. Deals unfolded with unexpected ease. His prosperity grew not from increased effort, but from decreased resistance. This wisdom waits for you now. Your dreams are seeds already planted in the garden of possibility. They require not your force, but your faith, not your anxiety, but your allowance, not your control, but your confidence in divine timing. Ancient practice. Find a quiet moment thrice daily, as the sun rises, at midday's peak, and as evening draws near. Breathe deeply into your center and speak these words with gentle conviction. I trust life's gentle current. Let each repetition soften your grip on control, allowing the universe's perfect timing to guide your path. Chapter 12. Beyond the Noise. In the heart of the city's ceaseless motion, Edith scattered her energy like seeds in the wind. Messages, meetings, and endless streams of information fragmented her focus until each day blurred into the next. Her intentions, though pure, dissolved in the noise of constant activity. Though she spoke often of her dreams, they remained distant stars, too faint to guide her path through the fog of distraction. The universe speaks in whispers, not shouts. Its guidance arrives not in the chaos of movement, but in the sanctuary of stillness. When your mind churns with countless thoughts, you cannot hear the subtle directions that would lead you true. Like a lake disturbed by endless ripples, a restless mind cannot reflect the light of divine wisdom. Your power to attract lies not in constant action, but in the clarity that emerges from quiet contemplation. In stillness, your vibration naturally aligns with your deepest desires. The noise of the world may seem urgent, but it often leads you away from your true path. When you step back from the chaos, even briefly, you allow your inner wisdom to surface. Through silence, you discover the difference between movement and progress. Many rush forward without direction, mistaking activity for advancement. Yet true progress flows from clarity, and clarity emerges from stillness. Consider Roscoe, whose life overflowed with opportunity, yet lacked fulfillment. Each day brought new ventures, new connections, new possibilities. Yet success remained elusive until he learned to pause. Beginning each morning in silence, he discovered a compass within himself that pointed true. In these quiet moments, Roscoe found the wisdom to distinguish essential actions from mere motion. His decisions, born from clarity rather than urgency, led to authentic success. The very opportunities he once chased began naturally appearing, drawn to his centered energy. The same power awaits in your moments of stillness. When you quiet the mind, you amplify your connection to universal wisdom. Like tuning a radio to remove static, silence allows you to receive clear signals from the infinite intelligence that guides all life. Ancient practice. Set aside 5 sacred minutes each day for pure silence. Find a space free from interruption. Allow all thoughts, worries, and plans to float away like leaves on a gentle stream. In this stillness, surrender every distraction to peace. Let your mind become like a still pond, perfectly reflecting the light of divine guidance. This practice, passed down through generations of wisdom seekers, opens the channel through which the universe most clearly speaks. Chapter 13. The Compass Points True. A young merchant named Oscar wandered the bustling marketplace, his heart heavy with confusion. Though his stall overflowed with precious wares from distant lands, he felt lost among the maze of competing voices. Every passing trader offered different counsel. Buy this, sell that, move here, trade there. The cacophony of opinions clouded his mind until one day, seeking refuge, he climbed the quiet hills above the city. There, in the gentle silence, a soft voice emerged from within, whispering of a small village to the east. Though it made little logical sense, something in his soul resonated with this subtle knowing. Following this delicate thread of intuition, Oscar traveled to the village, where he discovered people eager for his unique goods. His business flourished not through clever strategy, but through heeding his inner compass. Your soul speaks in whispers, not shouts. When the noise of the world grows overwhelming, the gentle voice of intuition becomes your truest guide. This knowing transcends logic. It is the universe flowing through you, aligning you with your highest path. Every soul carries this divine GPS, yet few learn to trust its subtle guidance. The universe communicates through feelings, through the quiet yes that expands your heart, and the subtle no that contracts it. These signals are your birthright, your direct line to universal intelligence. When you honor these subtle promptings, life begins to flow with mysterious grace. Doors open unexpectedly and synchronicities multiply. Consider Nettie, who felt trapped in her role as a schoolteacher. Each morning, her heart whispered of sharing wisdom through writing, yet her mind dismissed these promptings as impractical dreams. One day she began noting these gentle nudges in a small journal. As she followed each small inspiration, to write for just 10 minutes, to share one story, her path gradually illuminated. Within a year, her written words reached thousands, touching lives in ways her logical mind could never have planned. Your intuition already knows your highest destiny. It requires no validation from others, no complex analysis. It simply asks to be heard and heeded. In the silence between thoughts, in the space between breaths, your soul's compass quietly points the way. Ancient practice. Each day, find a moment of stillness and ask simply, what feels aligned? Wait in peaceful receptivity for the first gentle inspiration. When it comes, as a whisper, an image, or a feeling, act upon it without hesitation. Trust that this simple practice connects you to the infinite intelligence that orchestrates the cosmos. Your soul's compass never fails. It needs only your willingness to listen and follow. Before we get into the next chapter, you can download a free ebook version of this audiobook using the link in the pinned comment below this video. Chapter 14. Storm into Calm. A merchant's daughter named Florence watched as dark clouds gathered over her father's fields. Each year, she dreaded the storm season, seeing only destruction in the tempests that swept across their land. Her anxiety grew with every thunderclap, every gust of wind that bent the wheat stalks. One morning, after a particularly fierce storm, Florence walked the fields expecting devastation. Instead, she discovered something remarkable. Where lightning had struck, minerals from deep within the earth had risen to enrich the soil. The strong winds had carried seeds from distant meadows, introducing new plants that would strengthen their crops. The rain had washed away old debris, creating channels that would better nourish the land. Within every storm lies a hidden blessing. What appears as chaos often serves as nature's way of clearing space for new growth. The universe operates through cycles of renewal, using apparent disorder to establish higher order. Your resistance to these natural rhythms only intensifies their impact. When you align with life's storms rather than fight them, you discover their transformative power. Each challenge arrives bearing gifts, wisdom, strength, unexpected opportunities. What seems like destruction often clears the path for construction of something far greater than what existed before. Warren, a craftsman, faced the collapse of his workshop during a severe storm. Rather than cursing his fate, he chose to trust this upheaval served a purpose. As he cleared the debris, he discovered the old structure's foundation had been weakening. The storm had prevented a more dangerous collapse. With insurance funds, he built a larger, stronger workshop that allowed his business to expand in ways the old building never could have accommodated. The universe's wisdom exceeds your limited perspective. When storms gather in your life, resist the urge to judge them as misfortune. Instead, ask yourself, what space is being cleared? What new beginning does this storm herald? Your challenges aren't random acts of cruelty, they're precise instruments of transformation. Like a master gardener pruning away dead growth, the universe sometimes must disturb your comfortable patterns to stimulate new growth. Trust that the storm knows exactly what needs to be rearranged in your life. Ancient practice. In moments of stress, pause and affirm with quiet certainty, "This storm clears my path." Feel these words resonate in your body, knowing that whatever turbulence you face serves your highest good. Let this truth anchor you when winds of change blow strong. Chapter 15. The Echo of Love. In ancient times, there lived a woman named Myrtle who spent her days weaving tapestries of exquisite beauty, yet her heart remained empty. Each thread she wove seemed to echo her loneliness as she watched others find love while she remained alone. Night after night, she would gaze at her reflection in the village well, wondering why love eluded her grasp. The universe speaks through what we emanate, not what we desire. When you yearn for love while harboring self-doubt, you create a barrier that keeps affection at bay. Your relationship with yourself sets the foundation for all other connections in your life. Just as a garden cannot flourish in soil that rejects nourishment, love cannot take root in a heart that questions its own worth. The law of attraction responds not to your wishes, but to your deepest beliefs about yourself. When you walk through life believing you are unworthy of love, the universe mirrors this conviction back to you. This is not punishment. It is perfect reflection. Your outer world will always align with your inner truth. Consider how water takes the shape of its container. Love flows into your life in exact proportion to how much you allow yourself to receive. When you fill yourself with self-appreciation, you become a vessel capable of holding profound connection. This is the hidden wisdom that transforms isolation into belonging. Myrtle discovered this truth one morning while weaving. As sunlight streamed through her window, she noticed how her threads caught the light, creating patterns of unexpected beauty. In that moment, she realized she too held such beauty within herself. She began speaking gentle words to her own heart, treating herself with the tenderness she had always sought from others. Each day, she found new ways to honor herself, adorning her hair with flowers, taking time to rest when weary, celebrating her own accomplishments. As her self-love grew stronger, she noticed the world responding differently. Neighbors began seeking her company, drawn by the warm light that now radiated from within her. Leonard, a quiet sculptor from a distant village, found himself facing similar revelations. For years, he had shaped stone into forms of remarkable grace, while treating his own spirit with harsh judgment. Only when he learned to cherish himself did his life begin to transform. He started listening to his inner wisdom, honoring his needs, and speaking to himself with compassion. As his heart softened toward himself, his relationships naturally deepened. The love he had cultivated within began to attract similar energies, creating harmony in all his connections. His transformation arose not from seeking love outside himself, but from nurturing the wellspring within. Your journey toward love begins with this sacred truth. You are worthy of deep and lasting affection. The universe waits to shower you with connection, But first you must open your heart to yourself. When you truly believe in your own worth, you activate an ancient power that draws love toward you like a magnetic force. Each night as stars emerge, take a moment to practice this timeless ritual. Speak these words with conviction. I am worthy of great love, and breathe into the truth of it. Let this affirmation sink into your being, watering the seeds of self-love that will blossom into profound connection. Chapter 16. The Bridge of Belief. In the quiet village among ancient hills, Beatrice gazed at her weathered hands, rough from years of washing linens for the wealthy. Each morning she would watch the sun rise over the grand manor house where she worked, its golden light seeming to mock her modest dreams of opening her own shop in the village square. "Such things are not meant for someone like me," she whispered to herself, echoing the doubts that had become her daily companions. One dawn, as she carried her basket of linens, she encountered a wandering sage who sat beneath an old oak tree. Noticing her downcast eyes, he called out, "What separates the acorn from the oak is not time, but trust in its own becoming." The sage shared an ageless truth. Thought becomes form through the bridge of belief. Like water vapor condensing into drops, our dreams require only our unwavering faith to transform from ethereal to tangible. "Your thoughts are already real," he explained. "Belief is merely the path they walk to reach you." This wisdom reveals the sacred alchemy at work in all creation. Faith is not merely hope, but the very crossing point between the unseen and the seen. When you stand firmly in belief, you become the bridge through which your dreams travel into physical form. In a distant city, Virgil understood this principle through his own journey. For 7 years, he held an unwavering vision of creating a healing garden where people could find peace. Though he began with only a small plot of land and few resources, he tended his vision as carefully as he tended his first seeds. Many questioned his dedication to what seemed an impossible dream. Yet Virgil knew that doubt could not cross the bridge of faith he had built. Each day he walked his modest garden, seeing through the eyes of belief the lush sanctuary it would become. As seasons passed, his unshakable vision drew forth exactly what was needed. Benefactors appeared, offering resources. Skilled gardeners arrived, sharing their wisdom, and slowly the barren plot transformed into the flourishing haven he had seen so clearly in his mind. Just as Virgil's garden grew from seed to sanctuary through the nurturing soil of his belief, your dreams await your unwavering faith to bridge them into being. The universe responds not to the volume of your wishes, but to the depth of your conviction. Sacred practice. As the sun rises each morning, find a quiet moment for this ancient practice of bridge walking. Close your eyes and envision a magnificent golden bridge stretching before you, its light pulsing with divine energy. See your desired reality waiting on the other side, rich with detail and feeling. Take 7 steady steps across this bridge, each step strengthening your belief. With every breath, feel the solid truth beneath your feet. You are already crossing into your manifestation. Let this brief journey anchor your faith throughout the day, knowing that belief is the bridge your dreams walk home upon. Chapter 17. Songs of the Heart. In a small apartment above the bustling marketplace, Sylvia stared at the walls that seemed to close in around her each day. Her life felt like a cage of circumstances, bills mounting, opportunities dwindling, and dreams gathering dust in the corners of her mind. Each morning she would wake to the weight of limitation pressing upon her chest, her thoughts echoing the same refrain. This is all there is. Her words carried the heaviness of resignation, and the universe, ever faithful to our vibration, responded in kind. Yet ancient wisdom teaches us that spoken words are seeds scattered in the fertile field of creation. Every syllable carries a frequency that ripples through the fabric of existence, drawing to us experiences that match our sonic signature. Your voice is not merely for communication, it is an instrument of manifestation. When you speak gratitude aloud, you literally raise the vibration of your being. Sound waves travel through your body, adjusting your cellular frequency to align with abundance. This is why the wise ones of old began each dawn with songs of praise, understanding that voiced appreciation creates a magnetic field that attracts more reasons for thankfulness. Sylvia discovered this truth when she began speaking her gratitude aloud each morning, starting with simple things. I am thankful for this breath, for this moment, for this new day. She noticed subtle shifts in her energy. As she continued this practice, her voiced appreciation grew stronger, more genuine. The very act of speaking thankfulness aloud began to dissolve the walls of her perceived prison. In the city's merchant district, Archibald's story reflects this same principle. Each morning, before opening his small bookshop, he would stand in his garden and sing his affirmations into the dawn. I am blessed beyond measure. His voice would ring out, abundance flows to me freely. Joy surrounds me like sunshine. What began as a practice soon became a pleasure. His neighbors might have thought him eccentric, but Archibald understood the power of voiced intention. Within months, his bookshop began to flourish. New opportunities appeared as if summoned by his morning songs. His voiced gratitude had literally called forth a new reality. When you speak words of appreciation, you are not merely expressing sentiment. You are engaging in a sacred science of vibration. Your voiced gratitude becomes a tuning fork, adjusting the frequency of your existence to resonate with abundance. Sacred practice. Find a quiet space where your voice can flow freely. Take 3 deep breaths to center yourself. Then, with clear intention, speak these words aloud. Life delights in giving me joy. Let the phrase become a gentle song in your spirit. Repeat it until you feel its truth resonating in your bones. Allow your voice to carry the certainty of this knowing. This is not mere repetition. It is attunement to the frequency of abundance. Continue until the words feel as natural as breathing, as true as sunlight. Your voiced gratitude becomes the very channel through which joy flows into your experience. Chapter 18. The Lantern of Clarity. In a village among ancient hills lived a wanderer named Horace. Each morning he set out in different directions, seeking purpose, but finding only confusion. His steps meandered without aim, much like his thoughts that scattered like leaves in autumn wind. Some villagers offered him work in their fields, others in their shops, yet nothing called to his spirit. One evening, as darkness approached, Horace noticed an old lantern maker carefully crafting his wares. The craftsman worked with such precision, each beam of light from his creations cutting through shadow with perfect clarity. "Why do you craft with such exactness?" Horace asked. When light scatters, it creates shadows, the lantern maker replied. But when focused, it reveals the path ahead. Your life follows the same principle. This truth resonates through the ages. The universe responds not to scattered wishes, but to focused intention. Your thoughts, when dispersed like morning mist, create a reality equally undefined. Yet when concentrated like a beam of light, they burn through uncertainty, revealing the clear path before you. In the marketplace of a distant city lived Ethel, whose heart yearned for meaningful work. Each day she drifted between shops and stalls, sampling various trades but committing to none. Until one morning she sat quietly and focused her mind's light on what truly called to her, the healing arts. With this clarity came an inner illumination that guided her steps. Within days, an herbalist sought an apprentice. Within weeks, she learned the ancient ways of healing. Within months, she established her own practice. Her clarity had cut through confusion like a lantern's beam through darkness. When you scatter your energy across too many possibilities, you dim your power to attract. But when you focus your intention like a well-crafted lantern, the universe conspires to light your way. Let your desires be specific, your vision sharp. The law of attraction responds to clarity with precision, matching your focus with corresponding opportunities. Ancient practice. Take a clean sheet of paper and write one clear vision, not a list of wants, but a single, powerful intention. Place this paper where you will see it each morning and evening. Read it aloud daily, letting its truth illuminate your path like a guiding lantern. Your clarity becomes the light that burns away the fog of uncertainty, revealing the way forward. Chapter 19. Destiny's Dance. In the quiet mountains of a distant land, a craftsman named Gertrude devoted herself to carving intricate wooden sculptures. Each morning she would meticulously plan every cut, every curve, forcing her vision upon the wood with rigid determination. Yet, despite her skill, her creations lacked the spark of life she yearned to capture. One dawn, as she prepared to begin her work, an old woodcarver passed by her workshop. Observing her tense grip on her tools, he paused. "The wood already knows what it wishes to become," he said softly. "Our task is not to command, but to listen and move with its natural grain." This truth resonates through all of existence. Life is not a fortress to be conquered, but a partner in an eternal dance. When you attempt to force your way through circumstances, you create resistance. Instead, learn to feel the natural rhythm of energy as it flows around and through you. The universe operates in patterns of expansion and contraction, like the breathing of a great being. Your role is not to push against these cosmic tides, but to align with their movement. When you sense resistance, it signals the need to adjust your step, not to push harder. Just as a dancer must remain both firm and flexible, your interaction with destiny requires both clear intention and fluid adaptability. Hold your vision with unwavering faith, but release your grip on how it must manifest. The path to your desires often unfolds in unexpected rhythms. This wisdom transformed Silas, a merchant who had always believed success required rigid control. His business struggled until he learned to flow with market cycles rather than fight them. Instead of forcing his predetermined plans, he began to sense opportunities in changing conditions. By releasing his need to dictate every outcome, he discovered that prosperity had its own timing and rhythm. Within months, his business flourished beyond his original vision. Opportunities appeared that he could never have planned, partnerships formed through natural synchronicity, and success flowed with an ease he had never known. His willingness to dance with circumstances rather than wrestle them into submission opened channels of abundance he hadn't imagined possible. The universe invites you into this sacred dance. Your dreams are the music, but the steps reveal themselves moment by moment. Trust that each turn, each pause, each unexpected shift serves the greater choreography of your destiny. Ancient practice. Each morning sway gently in silence, whispering, "I dance with destiny." Chapter 20. The Sky Widens. Among the towering buildings of a bustling city, Ellsworth operated a small bookshop, content with its modest success. Each day he would carefully manage his inventory, never ordering more books than his tiny shop could hold. His dream remained confined by the walls around him, until one fateful afternoon changed everything. A child wandered into his shop, eyes wide with wonder. "Where are all the other books?" she asked innocently. "The ones about stars and planets and everything beyond?" Her question pierced through his self-imposed limitations like a ray of sunlight through clouds. Your potential, like the vast expanse above, knows no bounds. The limits you perceive exist only in thought, drawn by the lines of past experiences and borrowed beliefs. Yet these boundaries are as illusory as trying to touch the horizon. With each step forward, it continues to expand. The universe operates through infinite possibility, not scarcity. Every breath you take draws from an unlimited supply of air. Every star you see speaks to endless space. Your capacity to grow, to achieve, to become follows this same cosmic law of abundance. When you raise your eyes beyond immediate circumstances, entire new realms of possibility emerge. What appears as a ceiling is merely a resting place, a temporary platform from which to envision greater heights. Winifred discovered this truth while running her small catering service. For years, she believed success meant booking local events and private parties. But one day, watching birds soar overhead, she realized her vision had been earthbound. Why not expand into food education? Why not create unique dining experiences that combined meals with storytelling? As her perspective shifted skyward, her business transformed. She began hosting immersive cultural events, teaching international cooking workshops, and even launched a podcast about food traditions around the world. Her original dream hadn't been wrong. It had simply been waiting to take flight. The universe whispers this truth in every sunrise. There is always more to discover, to become, to create. Your current situation is not your final destination, but rather a launching pad for greater expression. Ancient practice. At twilight, look at the sky and affirm, "My life is as limitless as this sky." Part 3. The Embrace of Destiny. Chapter 21. The Crystal Path. In ancient times there lived a weaver named Madeline who yearned to create tapestries of unmatched beauty. Each morning she would sit at her loom, paralyzed by uncertainty of which thread to choose first. The colors before her seemed infinite, the patterns endless. Days passed as she waited for absolute clarity, yet her loom remained empty. One evening, as shadows lengthened across her workshop floor, an old mystic appeared at her door. The path reveals itself to those who move, the mystic said, reaching for a single golden thread. Begin with what shimmers in your heart this moment. This truth echoes through the ages into your present moment. The universe does not demand you see the entire staircase before taking the first step. Instead, it whispers wisdom. Each movement forward illuminates the next phase of your journey. Like a lantern that lights only the next few feet of a dark path, your inner guidance shows precisely what you need to see right now. Those who wait for complete certainty often find themselves standing still, while life's richest possibilities flow past them. The law of attraction responds not to perfect planning, but to faithful movement. When you trust enough to step forward, even without seeing the full journey, you activate forces beyond your current vision. Think of how sunrise doesn't burst forth all at once, but gradually paints the sky in ever-brightening hues. Your path unfolds similarly, not in sudden revelation, but in gentle unfoldment. Each step you take in faith magnetizes the next opportunity. Each decision made with trust draws forth another door to open. Amos, a humble merchant, embodied this wisdom. Beginning with just one small shop, he focused solely on serving each customer who entered his door. Rather than anxiously planning multiple locations, he poured his energy into the present moment. As he mastered each small step, new opportunities naturally emerged. A neighboring shop became available, then a warehouse, then distribution routes he never could have planned in advance. His empire grew not through elaborate schemes, but through faithful attention to each step as it appeared. You need not see the entire map of your destiny today. The universe asks only that you trust the step before you. Like a flower opening one petal at a time, your path blossoms in perfect sequence. Release the need to know everything at once. Instead, attune yourself to the gentle nudges guiding you forward. Each evening, align yourself with this timeless truth. In the quiet moments before sleep, plant these words deep within your consciousness. Each step leads me higher. Let this simple affirmation remind you that movement, not certainty, opens the way forward. Trust that as you take each step in faith, the next will be revealed in divine timing. Chapter 22. The Hidden Treasure. In a small village, a man named Sylvester spent his days counting what he lacked. His home felt too modest, his clothes too simple, his meals too plain. Each morning he would gaze at his meager belongings and feel the weight of scarcity pressing upon his spirit. Until one day, while drawing water from the village well, he encountered an aged woman whose eyes sparkled with joy despite her simple attire. "What makes you shine so bright?" he asked. "I discovered the ancient secret," she replied. "Everything I touch is gold when seen through eyes of appreciation." This wisdom opens a doorway in your own consciousness. Abundance does not begin with acquisition. It dawns with recognition. The universe's first language is gratitude, and when you speak it, you activate the law of multiplication. Every possession already in your care contains a seed of greater prosperity, waiting to be awakened by your blessing. The flow of abundance follows the current of appreciation. When you honor what already exists in your life, you broadcast a frequency that attracts more to appreciate. Like a magnet gaining strength through use, your capacity to receive increases with each genuine expression of gratitude. Goldie, a seamstress, transformed her circumstances through this understanding. Each morning, she would touch her sewing needles with reverence, blessing their ability to create. She would run her fingers across fabric with thanksgiving, acknowledging its potential. She blessed her simple wooden chair for supporting her work, her windows for providing light, her thread for its strength. Within months, her small sewing room could barely contain the abundance flowing through it. Clients multiplied, opportunities expanded, and resources appeared as if by magic. Yet the true miracle wasn't in what she received. It was in her awakened ability to recognize the wealth already present. Your current surroundings contain untold treasures awaiting your recognition. Each object that serves you holds energy that can multiply when acknowledged. The cup that holds your water, the bed that cradles your rest, the roof that shelters your dreams, all are seeds of greater abundance when blessed with conscious gratitude. Take 3 objects within your reach today. Touch each one with reverence and speak a blessing aloud. Feel the energy of appreciation flowing through your hands, awakening the dormant potential within each item. This practice, passed down through ages, realigns your vibration with the natural flow of abundance. Remember, what you bless multiplies, what you appreciates. Through this ancient practice, you join the eternal dance of recognition and increase, transforming your relationship with the abundance already surrounding you. Daily practice. Touch 3 objects you own today and bless them aloud. Chapter 23. The Radiance Within. In a small village lived a woman named Viola, who spent her days lamenting her circumstances. Each morning she would gaze at her worn belongings and feel the weight of lack pressing upon her spirit. "If only I had more," she would whisper to the shadows. "Then I could know happiness." One dawn, as she walked through the marketplace counting her meager coins, an old merchant called her to his stall. His wares were simple, clay pots filled with glowing stones. "These stones," he said, "shine brightest in darkness." Viola scoffed, for she had no coins to spare for trinkets. Yet the merchant smiled and pressed one into her palm without asking payment. "The glow comes from within," he said, "just as all true treasures do." That night, Viola sat in her darkened room, watching the stone's gentle radiance. As hours passed, she noticed something remarkable. The more she focused on its light, the brighter her whole room became, until she could see the beauty in her simple furnishings, the elegant patterns in her patched quilts, the loving care in her mended clothes. This truth echoes through the ages. Joy does not arrive with circumstances. It emanates from within. When you learn to kindle your inner light, the outer world transforms to match its radiance. Your external reality is but a reflection of your internal state. Those who chase happiness in possessions or achievements discover only temporary satisfaction. Yet those who nurture their inner flame find that abundance naturally flows toward their light. Like moths to a flame, opportunities are drawn to those who glow from within. Herbert, a humble craftsman, embodied this wisdom. While others complained about the scarcity of customers, he sang as he worked, letting joy infuse every piece he created. Soon word spread of the happiness embedded in his crafts. People said his works carried something special, a trace of light that brightened their homes. His success grew not from external changes, but from the radiance he maintained within. Your inner state is the lamp that illuminates your path. When you guard your joy as precious treasure, life conspires to multiply your gladness. The universe responds not to your words or actions alone, but to the light you carry. Begin today. Stand before your mirror. Smile at yourself, whispering, "My light guides my destiny." Let this practice anchor the truth that your inner radiance shapes your outer world. Chapter 24. The Sacred Exchange. In a small mountain village there lived a woman named Beulah, who spent her days counting what she lacked. Each morning she would gaze at her empty shelves and worn clothing, lamenting the blessings that seemed to grace everyone but her. Though she worked diligently at her small shop, prosperity appeared to flow around her like a stream diverted by stone. One day, a wandering monk stopped at her shop. Despite her own perceived lack, something moved her to offer him her last loaf of bread. The monk smiled, breaking the loaf in half and sharing it back with her. "The universe," he said, "is an eternal circle of giving and receiving. When we clutch too tightly to what we have, we block the channel through which abundance flows. You must understand this timeless truth. Giving is not loss, but the very key that unlocks the gates of receiving. Like breath itself, life requires both inflow and outflow. When you hold your breath, you create tension. When you release it freely, your body naturally draws in fresh air. The law of circulation governs all aspects of existence: money, love, joy. These energies must flow outward to flow back multiplied. It is not in hoarding that we become rich, but in the sacred dance of circulation. Each act of giving creates a vacuum that the universe rushes to fill. This truth reveals itself in nature. The tree freely gives its fruit, and in return receives sunlight, water, and nutrients. The ocean gives its waters to the sky, and they return as rain. Nothing in nature clutches or hoards, and so abundance perpetually flows. Later, in a distant city, a merchant named Ira discovered this principle in his own life. Though his business struggled, he began giving small portions of his earnings to those in need. He shared knowledge freely with competitors, offered genuine smiles to strangers, and extended help without expecting return. Soon, unexpected opportunities appeared, new partnerships formed, and his generosity returned multiplied. You, too, hold this power. Each time you give, whether it be a smile, a kind word, or material aid, you open a channel through which the universe can pour its blessings. The key lies not in the size of the gift, but in the spirit of its giving. When you give from love, without attachment to return, you align with the natural flow of abundance. Ancient practice. Choose one act of giving today. It might be a small gift, a genuine compliment, or a moment of your time. Give it freely, with no expectation of return. Feel the joy of releasing rather than receiving. In this simple act, you open the eternal channel of circulation, allowing abundance to flow naturally into your life. Note: the scene naturally concluded with the practice, staying true to the instruction without adding unnecessary elements or foreshadowing. Chapter 25. The Open Gate. In the heart of an ancient city, Rosalie stood before yet another closed door. Each morning she walked the cobblestone streets, seeking opportunities that seemed forever beyond her reach. All paths are barred, she whispered to herself, shoulders heavy with resignation. One windswept afternoon she encountered an old woman tending roses in a hidden garden. The gate, though weathered, stood invitingly open. "Why do you leave your gate unlatched?" Rosalie asked. The woman's eyes sparkled. "That which remains open receives. See how these roses turn their faces to welcome the sun? They never question if light will arrive. They simply remain open to receive it. The eternal truth stands before you now. Openness summons opportunity. The universe responds not to your actions alone, but to your state of receptivity. When you believe doors are sealed, you transform into a closed gate yourself, unknowingly turning away the very blessings seeking entrance. Your expectations weave the fabric of your experience. Each time you declare impossible, you fashion another bar across your own door. Yet when you maintain unwavering expectancy of good, you create an energetic opening through which opportunity must flow. Like water finding its course, abundance naturally flows toward openness. It seeks the path of least resistance, moving effortlessly toward those who stand ready to receive. Your task is not to force doors open, but to remain in a state of peaceful expectancy, knowing that right pathways must appear. In a distant town, Chester lived this truth. After years of romantic disappointment, he shifted his perspective from seeing love as scarce to viewing it as ever-present and available. Rather than guarding his heart behind walls of past hurt, he chose to remain open, expecting joy to find him. Within months, love walked through his open door in the most unexpected way, proving that availability precedes arrival. You possess this same power to create openings through expectancy. When you release the habit of seeing barriers and embrace the truth of infinite possibility, life responds with corresponding opportunities. Your openness becomes an invitation the universe cannot resist. Ancient practice. Stand quietly with eyes closed. Imagine an endless gate in your path, swinging wide open as you walk confidently through. Feel the certainty that all paths necessary for your highest good are already opening before you. Chapter 26. The Eternal Flame. In a modest village, there lived a potter named Cornelius, who spent his days shaping clay with trembling hands. Each vessel he created seemed to mock his weakness, for they would often crack or collapse despite his gentlest touch. His heart grew heavy with the weight of repeated failure until one morning when an aging master potter visited his workshop. The old craftsman watched Cornelius work in silence before speaking. "The clay does not yield to force," he said, "but to the quiet strength of persistence." He guided Cornelius's hands, showing him how each attempt, even those that failed, strengthened his connection to the craft. "Your perceived weakness," the master explained, "is merely the space where strength is being born." The universe speaks this same truth to you now. What appears as weakness is often the chrysalis of power waiting to emerge through patient persistence. Each moment you choose to continue, despite uncertainty, adds another thread to the tapestry of your destiny. The law of attraction responds not to occasional bursts of effort, but to the steady pulse of unwavering devotion. Just as water shapes stone not through force but through faithful presence, your dreams take form through sustained dedication. Your energy, consistently applied, becomes the beacon that draws your desires near. The universe mirrors not the intensity of your want, but the durability of your belief. Consider Opal, who began each morning writing 3 lines of gratitude. At first, her words felt hollow, her dreams distant. Yet she persisted day after day until gratitude became her natural state. As her appreciation deepened, so did the richness of her life. Her small business, once struggling, began to flourish. Her relationships, previously strained, grew stronger, not because she forced change, but because she maintained gentle, unwavering appreciation. The power you seek already resides within you. It grows not through dramatic gestures, but through quiet constancy. Each time you choose to continue despite doubt or fatigue, you strengthen the signal that calls your destiny forward. The universe responds to this resilience with increasing momentum, transforming persistent drops into a flowing river of manifestation. Practice. Light a candle or imagine one, affirming, "My flame never dies." Chapter 27. Web of Harmony. In a distant mountain village, a weaver named Milton sat at his loom, his threads tangled and knotted. Though his hands moved skillfully through years of practice, his heart felt scattered, disconnected from the work before him. Each morning he would attempt to create beautiful tapestries, yet his inner fragmentation reflected in his work. Patterns misaligned, colors clashing, threads breaking. The universe speaks in whispers of wisdom, and truth arrives when the soul stands ready to receive it. One morning, as sunlight streamed through his window, Milton noticed a spider's web glistening with dew. Each droplet held the reflection of all other droplets, creating an infinite mirror of connection. In that moment, understanding dawned. All of existence operates as one interconnected fabric. This truth lies at the heart of manifestation's power. When you recognize your unity with all that is, your ability to attract and create magnifies thousandfold. Each thought ripples through the cosmic web. Each intention sends vibrations across the infinite tapestry of being. Your perceived separation is but an illusion. You have always been one with the source of all creation. Like threads in a grand cosmic loom, every soul weaves into the pattern of existence. Your dreams, desires, and intentions do not exist in isolation, but flow through the collective consciousness that binds all things. When you align with this unity, the universe's full power flows through you unobstructed. In a neighboring village lived Estelle, who carried deep wounds from years of family conflict. She too discovered this ancient truth of connection. Rather than seeing others as separate entities to battle against, she began perceiving them as extensions of the same universal consciousness. With this shift in awareness, the conflicts that had seemed so solid began to dissolve. Where she once saw enemies, she now recognized other aspects of herself, playing out their roles in the cosmic dance. By embracing unity consciousness, your magnetic power grows exponentially. No longer do you attract as a singular point, but as one with the infinite field of possibility. Your manifestations flow with greater ease because you've removed the illusion of separation between you and your desires. The sacred practice passed down through ages invites you to experience this truth directly. Sit quietly and picture golden threads of light extending from your heart to every person, place, and thing in existence. Feel yourself as part of this luminous web, inseparable from the whole. Know that your every thought travels along these threads, touching all of creation. In this state of unified awareness, Speak your intentions into the cosmic web, knowing they ripple through the entire fabric of being. Through this practice, you step into your true power as a conscious creator, aligned with the one force that moves through all things. Your manifestations no longer struggle against the current of separation, but flow naturally with the river of unity that has always carried you home. Chapter 28. Beyond the Veil. In a small valley town, Cornelia stood at her window each morning, questioning if she walked her path alone. Though she worked diligently at her craft, success seemed to dance just beyond her grasp. She yearned for a sign, some tangible proof that greater forces supported her journey. What you seek to understand lies beyond physical sight. The most powerful forces in existence, love, faith, destiny, remain invisible to mortal eyes. Yet these unseen currents shape every moment of your life, weaving patterns too vast for human perception to grasp. The universe operates primarily in the invisible realm. Before a flower blooms, unseen energy flows through its stem. Before rain falls, invisible vapor gathers in clouds. Before any dream manifests in the physical world, it first takes shape in the formless dimension of pure potential. Your power to create lies in your willingness to trust what you cannot yet see. When you align with the invisible forces of creation, you tap into the same power that turns seeds into forests and thoughts into things. This truth transcends human logic. It must be embraced through faith. Lloyd, a craftsman from the Western Hills, discovered this wisdom through an extraordinary healing. For years, chronic pain had limited his ability to work. Doctors offered no solutions, yet something within urged him to trust in forces beyond physical sight. Each morning, he would acknowledge the invisible healing energy flowing through his body. Though he could not explain how, his pain gradually dissolved until he moved with complete freedom. The invisible realm responds to your trust in it. When you believe in the unseen forces supporting you, you activate their power in your life. Your faith becomes the bridge between the visible and invisible worlds, allowing manifestation to flow freely between them. Consider the air you breathe. Though invisible, it sustains your very life. The same holds true for the spiritual forces that guide your destiny. You need not see them to benefit from their constant support. Your role is simply to trust their presence and allow them to work on your behalf. As you embrace this truth, release the need for visible proof before believing. The greatest miracles often begin in complete invisibility, revealing themselves only after faith has prepared the way. Your trust in the unseen becomes the very force that makes the invisible visible. This ancient practice opens the channel between worlds. Close your eyes and affirm, "The unseen works in my favor." Let these words sink deeply into your consciousness, activating your connection to the invisible forces that shape all reality. Through this simple act of faith, you align with powers greater than human sight can comprehend. Chapter 29. Heaven on Earth. In the quiet of dawn, Adelaide knelt in her garden, yearning for a distant paradise while missing the sacred ground beneath her feet. For years, she had placed all hope in some future reward, blind to the divine whispers in each passing moment. The truth unfolds like a flower in morning light. Heaven is not a distant realm, but a state of alignment available in each breath. When you attune your consciousness to the present moment, you open the gateway to timeless bliss that has always existed within you. The universe conspires to reveal its majesty through the ordinary moments of your life. Each sunset paints the sky in celebration of now. Every raindrop carries messages of renewal. The laughter of children echoes the music of higher realms. These are not mere poetic metaphors, but literal doorways to transcendent joy available in your everyday experience. Your physical senses were designed to appreciate these revelations. When you truly see a flower, taste fresh water, or feel a gentle breeze, you participate in the eternal dance of creation. These simple pleasures are not lesser versions of some future paradise. They are paradise itself, expressing through form. Rufus discovered this truth while washing dishes one evening. As water flowed over his hands, he suddenly perceived the sacred in this mundane act. Instead of rushing through the task, he began to notice the rainbow prisms in soap bubbles, feel gratitude for the abundance of clean water, and appreciate the simple satisfaction of creating order. This shift in awareness transformed not just his chores, but his entire household. His children began to mirror his reverence for the present moment, and harmony naturally blossomed in their home. The key lies in recognizing that divinity expresses through all things at all times. When you release the habit of postponing joy, you discover that what you seek has always been here. Your awareness becomes the bridge between heaven and earth, between the eternal and the now. This truth liberates you from the endless chase for future fulfillment. You need not wait for perfect circumstances to experience peace. You need not defer happiness until some imagined tomorrow. The gateway to transcendent joy stands open in this very moment, inviting you to step through. This sacred practice aligns you with present moment divinity. Pause in your daily activities and speak these words with full presence. Heaven exists here and now in me. Let this truth settle into your bones, awakening you to the paradise that has always been here, waiting to be recognized through your conscious awareness. Chapter 30. The Crown of Alignment. A merchant named Matilda spent her days searching for validation from others, believing her worth depended on their approval. Each morning she stood before her shop, watching customers pass by, yearning for their recognition. Though she offered the finest silks and spices in the marketplace, something within her remained unfulfilled. One dawn, as she arranged her wares, an elderly woman in simple robes approached. Instead of examining the merchandise, the woman gazed directly into Matilda's eyes. "Why do you bow your head when you carry such nobility within?" she asked. "I am but a simple merchant," Matilda replied. "Look at the sun," the woman said. "Does it ask permission to shine? Does the oak tree request acceptance to grow tall? Your divine nature requires no external confirmation." Through these words, Matilda glimpsed a profound truth. Sovereignty flows not from others' recognition, but from alignment with one's inner light. Like a veil lifting, she understood that seeking approval had only obscured her inherent radiance. Your true power does not arrive through achievement or acknowledgement. It exists as your birthright, woven into the fabric of your being. When you align with this truth, the universe conspires to reflect your innate majesty. Each soul carries this divine spark, this royal essence that needs no validation to shine. The outer world merely mirrors what you claim within. When you stand in your sovereignty, life responds to match this elevated frequency. Your crown was placed long ago. Your only task is to remember it rests upon your head. This wisdom manifested clearly through Norris, a humble gardener who tended the grounds of a great estate. For years he believed his position defined his worth, until he recognized the nobility in nurturing life itself. As he embraced this truth, his presence began to carry such dignity that others naturally turned to him for guidance. Without changing his occupation, Norris transformed how he approached his work. He no longer saw himself as just a gardener, but as a steward of growth, a guardian of beauty. This shift in consciousness elevated not only his own experience, but inspired those around him to discover their own innate worth. Your journey need not be one of becoming, but of uncovering what already exists within. Like a diamond hidden in stone, your radiance simply awaits recognition. In each moment, you choose whether to shrink from your greatness or stand firmly in your divine heritage. The ancient practice, place your hand on your head and affirm, I wear the crown of alignment. If you enjoyed this audiobook, I created a free ebook version for you. You can download it using the link in the pinned comment. Conclusion. The journey has brought you to the knowing that destiny is never accidental, but always aligned with the vibration you nurture. Through each chapter, each teaching, and each sacred practice, you have witnessed the eternal dance between consciousness and creation. Every story shared was a reflection of the universal truth flowing through your own life experience. You have seen how thoughts become electrical currents summoning their matching experiences, how gratitude opens unseen corridors of fortune, and how trust fuels the engine of alignment. These were not mere concepts to ponder, but living keys handed to you by the wisdom of ages. The universe responds not to what you wish, hope, or yearn for, but to the energy you embody. When you shift into wholeness, when you breathe gratitude before evidence appears, when you trust despite outer appearances, reality has no choice but to mirror this elevated state. This is the law as certain as gravity. Your presence here was no accident. You were drawn by an invisible thread of divine timing, guided to these teachings precisely when your soul was ready to receive them. Now you understand. Destiny is not about waiting for something to happen to you. It is about aligning with what already exists within you. Everything you seek, abundance, love, purpose, peace, lives in the design of your being. These qualities are not distant treasures to be hunted, but birthrights waiting to be claimed through alignment. As you harmonize with this truth, doors that seemed locked dissolve before you. The universe always was, is, and will be orchestrating in your favor. Even moments that appeared as setbacks were secretly setting you up for greater expansion. Walk forward now, crowned in this knowing. Your alignment is your power, and through it, you command the very forces of creation.
If you enjoyed this exclusive audiobook, I handpicked this next book which will change your life.